Sarah and Mike thought their new home in the quiet Pennsylvania countryside was a dream come true, an escape from the city's relentless noise. But they were wrong. The silence here was different. The silence had a voice, and in this house, the walls whispered back. Their moving day started with bright sunshine and hopeful smiles. The 1940s farmhouse was old, sure, but as Sarah said, it felt peaceful. Mike agreed, wrapping an arm around her. Yeah, we'll make it our home. They laughed as they carried boxes inside, envisioning a future filled with quiet mornings and starry nights. But as Sarah unpacked a box of old books, a faint sound broke the idyllic quiet, a soft rhythmic tapping like someone knocking gently from inside the wall. "Did you hear that?" she asked, her smile faltering. Mike, busy with a heavy lamp, just shrugged. Probably the old pipe settling, hun. This place has character. He dismissed it, and the sound stopped as quickly as it had started. They went back to unpacking, unaware that they had just received their first warning. That night, the house revealed its true character. Sarah woke up abruptly, a cold feeling creeping over her skin. A whisper, as soft as a breath, slithered into her ear. A woman's voice, impossibly close. "I never left this house." Sarah shot up in bed, heart hammering against her ribs, and fumbled for the light. Mike grumbled, woken by the sudden brightness. "What's wrong?" "You're just stressed from the move." But Sarah was shaking. "No, someone was in the room. I heard a voice. Mike, I swear." He didn't believe her, just told her to go back to sleep. The next morning, as sunlight streamed through the dusty windows, Sarah noticed something she hadn't before. On the bedroom wall, a web of fine cracks had formed. As she stared, her blood ran cold. The cracks weren't random. They looked like a face silently screaming, "Hello." Eerie hums seemed to fill the room, a sound she felt more than heard. The whispers and strange occurrences pushed Sarah to the edge. While Mike went to work, she became obsessed with the house's past. She spent hours in the local library, digging through microfiche and dusty town records. Finally, she found it, a faded newspaper article from 1953. The headline, "Read, local wife missing, husband claims she moved away, case never solved." The article featured a photo of the house, their house. A chill went down her spine. She rushed home, bursting through the door. "Mike, I found something. This house, there was a missing person case here, maybe even a murder." Mike, who was trying to fix a leaky faucet, just laughed nervously. "Babe, it's an old house. It's bound to have some old stories. Don't believe everything you read online." But Sarah couldn't let it go that night, driven by a terrifying need to know. She pressed her ear against the cold plaster of the bedroom wall, and the whisper returned, louder this time. Filled with a chilling clarity, the female voice spoke again, no longer just a breath but a clear, desperate plea. "He buried me in the walls." Sarah gasped, stumbling back, the sound of her own frantic heartbeat thundering in her ears as the whisper echoed in her mind. Sarah couldn't ignore it any longer. This wasn't stress. This wasn't her imagination, fueled by a mix of terror and a strange sense of duty. She grabbed a hammer from the toolbox. Mike, hearing the commotion, ran into the room. "Sarah, what the hell are you doing?" he yelled, seeing her swing the hammer against the wall. "There's someone inside," she screamed back, her voice cracking with hysteria. She swung again, and again, dust and plaster filling the air. Then, on the fourth strike, something changed. A dark, thick, red liquid began to seep out of the crack she'd made. It wasn't rust from a pipe. It was blood. Sarah dropped the hammer in horror. Mike's face went white. As they stared, frozen, the wall groaned and a larger chunk of plaster broke away. Something metallic fell from the new cavity, clattering onto the floorboards. It was an old wedding ring. Sarah bent down with a trembling hand and picked it up. Engraved on the inside were two initials, M and S. Mike and Sarah. She looked at Mike, her eyes wide with terror. That's our initials." That moment, a low rumble shook the foundation of the house, and a chorus of whispers erupted from all around them, a chilling symphony of spectral voices, all chanting the same horrifying words. "You replaced me." The house was no longer hiding. That night, Mike changed. Sarah found him just standing in the bedroom, staring blankly at the hole in the wall. He was completely still. "Mike," she whispered, but he didn't respond. He turned around slowly. Mechanically, his eyes were lifeless, vacant. And then he spoke. But the voice that came out wasn't his. It was deep, distorted, ancient. She shouldn't have opened the wall. He took a step towards her, the hammer now clutched tightly in his his hand. Suddenly, the whispering was deafening. A storm of 100 voices screaming from every corner of the house, clawing at her sanity. "What do you want from us?" Sarah shrieked into the chaos, backing away from the thing that wore her husband's face. A single, clear female voice cut through the noise, the original whisperer, now filled with a sorrowful power to be remembered. The lights flickered violently, the entire house began to shake as if it were being torn apart, and the darkness closed in. The next morning, the old farmhouse was silent once more. A neighbor, worried after hearing screams the night before, had called 911. Two police officers entered the home, their voices echoing in the unnatural stillness. In the master bedroom, they found the broken wall. One officer shone his flashlight into the dark cavity. He recoiled. Inside, nestled within the lath and plaster, were two fresh skeletons. One male, one female, intertwined in a final macabre embrace on the floor nearby. A smartphone lay on its screen, still recording audio. The officer played the last file. In the recording, amidst the sound of screaming and shattering plaster, Sarah's last terrified words could be heard. "The house, it doesn't want to be empty." As the officer listened, the camera of our story pulls back slowly out of the room, down the hall. We watch as the gaping hole in the wall begins to mend itself. Plaster creeps across the opening, sealing the new residents inside. Cracks disappear, leaving the wall smooth and pristine as if nothing ever happened. As the last sliver of darkness is sealed away, a final, soft whisper echoes through the silent house. "Welcome home."